Hey everybody, this is Brian. Welcome to Chiller Night Live. We're from 8 p.m. Eastern Time until 9 p.m. We'll talk about all things horror, science fiction, paranormal. You pick the topic and we will make a show out of it, by golly. All right, Stephanie is there right away. Stephanie says, hey y'all. Hey Stephanie, thanks for joining us. Hope you had a good week. Hope all of you had a good week. And I hope that we can make your week a little better. That's right, it might be early in the week. It's only Tuesday, but we're going to treat it. It's a Tuesday that doesn't know that it's a Tuesday. It thinks it's a Friday. So we'll go with that. Let's see. Any news? Any news? You know, I was looking into some things for tonight's episode. Should probably wait. There we go. Good evening, everyone. D says, good evening, D. Thanks for joining us. And Bonehead. Bonehead is with us. All right. So I figured I'd give it that wiggle room, that extra minute there for a few folks to jump on it here. I was looking into some news and right out the gate, I'm going to hit you with this. Five Nights at Freddy, Part 2. Now, I never saw the first one, but this smashes box office records. $109, or $109. Imagine that. $109 million opening weekend. So, seems to have done pretty well. So, good for them. The fine folks at Five Nights at Freddy's. Has anybody seen that? Or the first one? Did any of you guys follow that? I don't know. I know very little about it. I'm aware of what Five Nights at Freddy's is, but I've not seen any of the movies or anything. So, but they made a lot of money opening weekend. So good on them. Good on them. Al says hi everyone. Hey Al, thanks for joining us. Thank you, thank you. Hope all is well out there on that side of the camera with all of you. Dominic says, hello everyone. Supergirl trailer is supposed to come out this week. Can't say I'm too excited. And who will get Warner Brothers? Oh, does it? You know, Dominic, I watched Superman. My wife and I watched that about a month ago. Something like that. I'm not saying, you know, I have nothing bad to say about it, but it wasn't anything that stood out, you know. I think I mentioned this last week or the week before. It was like the next morning. I still don't remember how the movie ended. And I watched it, you know, but it was just, it wasn't wow. It didn't have that effect on me. So but again, I think I mentioned this last week or the week before. Whenever I was talking about this, my brother Troy, he loved it. He went with my dad, and they watched it at the theater, and he couldn't wait to go see it again at the theater. So, you know, so there's that end of the spectrum. But Supergirl, I don't know. I'm not. I don't know. I never really was into the Supergirl. Movies or series, but Stephanie says I've seen trailers of them. Of the Five Nights at Freddy's. Yeah, that did really well. What did it just opened up on the 5th, so did pretty well. And another movie. This is all within the last week. I thought it was newsworthy. Predator Badlands becomes the highest grossing film in the franchise. Now, it pulled in $180 million so far worldwide. So, you know, good for them. Good for them. They're still making the movies. You know, as long as the cash flows, they'll come out with new content. So D says, my one son, Aiden, loves Five Nights at Freddy's. He said his favorite scene was from the first movie was when Freddy bit Max in half. Oh yeah. Yeah, I haven't seen it, but now has he seen the second one, or has he made mention that he's looking forward to seeing the second one? Um, but if he loves it, he loves it. He probably will see it, I'm sure. That's good. I'm glad there's folks still going to the theater. You know, I sadly can't say that I've been to the theater in a while. I just have I besides not really having an abundance of time, I don't have as much interest anymore. Um, I don't know. Nothing's really grabbing at me. Although maybe, perhaps in May, when the Mandalorian and Grogu, where is he? Here we go. When that comes out in May, maybe I'll go see it at the theater. I don't know. That might be kind of cool. We will see. Okay, Al says I saw Predator Badlands and loved it. Ah, okay. Well, there we have a direct review, a response there from Al. All right, very cool, very cool. SBC says hello, everybody. Hey, SBC, how are you on this fine night? This fine chiller night. Hope you're doing well. So we were just talking about, or I had mentioned how Predator Badlands. Now this just came out, and it has pulled in 180 million worldwide, like in a very short amount of time. And then I had mentioned also about Five Nights at Freddy's Part 2. It made 109 million the opening weekend. That just started out on December 5th. So if you like that, Dee's son, Aiden, he enjoys Five Nights at Freddy's. So, and apparently so do a lot of other people be bringing in that kind of money. So SBC says YouTube did not notify me again. That is weird. I don't know. I don't know what's up with that. Gosh, I don't know. SBC. I wish I did. SBC said, I did have a cold, but it's getting better now. Ah, well, take plenty of vitamin C and zinc. Drink plenty of fluids. Yeah. Well, you're getting better now, so that's good. That's good. About that time of the year, though, between October and November, December. Speaking of cold, how's it hitting you, folks? I know in northwest Pennsylvania, and at least in Butler County, Pennsylvania, it was 9 degrees this morning, and it says it had to let us know. It feels like 0, and it did. You know, it wasn't lying. Cold week. We're supposed to get a pretty good amount of snow, from what I understand. So that's good. I'll get to fire up the old snow blower. So how are you all faring during this this winter? And it's early. It's very early so far in the winter. There have been, Ava and I were just talking about this earlier today. There have been plenty of Decembers here within the last 10 years or so where we haven't had any snow coming up on even going into Christmas. So it doesn't seem to be the case for this year. I don't think it is. Speaking of snow. There, we'll turn the snow on. No, you know what? I'm going to see enough of that this week. Maybe I won't. What else did we talk about last week? Oh! Return of the Living Dead. Supposed to be coming out. I think the release date is on Christmas. But that's coming up real quick. Return of the Living Dead. Anybody looking forward to seeing that? Maybe that's what I'll go see. Maybe I won't see it on Christmas Day, I'm sure. I'm not much for traveling on Christmas Day, but yeah, maybe I'll go see Return of the Living Dead. Anybody out there looking forward to seeing that? Even if you don't go to the theater, you're looking forward to seeing Return of the Living Dead. I'm kind of curious to see what they're going to do with it. Is it going to be kind of a comedic take of things in the zombie world, like Return of the Living Dead was, or are they going to go a little bit darker and more take it more? Is the tone of the movie going to be more serious? We shall see. Has anybody heard? Curious how that's going to be. Stephanie says, I had 4.8 inches of snow the 1st of December, the week after Thanksgiving. Ah, is that right? Yeah. It's a common. It's supposed to snow all week. I'm sure you'll love to hear that, but at least in my neck of the woods. But that is just the way it is, by golly, when you live where we live this time of the year. So, all right, so there was that. Oh, I mentioned the age of disclosure. Has anybody else seen that? I thought it was pretty interesting. Of course, talking about the UFO phenomenon, disclosed, by the government. Some interesting bits of information in that. If you like that type of thing, if you're interested in the UFOs or UAP phenomenon, it's worth checking out, I think. Yes, eyes, pink heart shape. But for Return of the Living Dead, D says, SBC says, not cold at all in Munich. 12 grad Celsius, 53 degrees Fahrenheit. Oh, yeah, that ain't bad at all. Stephanie says, I get more snow on Friday. Well, I'll tell you what. Now, I don't know accumulation-wise. All I know is what's in the weather, what's in the forecast. I'm looking at the 10-day, and today was supposed to be 70% chance of freezing rain. Fortunately, I didn't run into that. I'm really glad. It was a week ago, last Tuesday, when I couldn't even get to work because the roads were just sheets of ice. So, almost made it, but I had to come home. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all snowy and very cold. So, yes. What are you going to do? That time of the year. Put the tree up this weekend. Sunday I put the tree up. Anybody have their trees up? Last year we were, I remember putting pictures of folks who would send their decorations, Christmas tree pictures up. Maybe I'll do that again this year. SBC says, disclosure, I don't trust them. And not a bad bit of, not a bad way to be at all. You should always question everything. D says, yep, for Return of the Living Dead, it's about time, LOL. Yes, it's been a while, hasn't it? Yeah, Stan Smathers says, I have identified all the FOS I have ever seen. Oh, is that right? Well, thanks for joining us, Stan. You've identified them all, so you have no unidentified flying objects to discuss, apparently. So, but have you seen the Age of Disclosure, Stan, or any of you? Like I said, the mere fact that at least the people in the positions that they are at least talking about it and admitting, and I don't know why, well, news is very, very, very controlled We know that. You have, I mean, right? You know that. So, I mean, you know that if they wanted that to be the biggest story ever, it would be the biggest story ever. If they don't want it to be the biggest story ever, apparently it's not. But you would think that I always saw it when I was a kid growing up, like, wow, if that ever came out, that would be just the world would just you know everything would just stop. It would just be the biggest story ever. But it wasn't. It just came and went, and you know, as far as no one's landing on the White House lawn and coming out and giving a speech or anything like that. However, just as significant, maybe not just as, but still, I mean, as far as acknowledging the significance is there, that it has been said by even the past administration. Yes, these exist. We don't know what they are, but they do exist. So we do not know who is piloting them, which I don't believe that for 1 second. But I'm just saying that is what's being publicly stated, and why this isn't being blown up to be a bigger deal than what it is. I don't know. UFOs, okay, Stan. I was like, I don't know, does FOS stand for something that I'm missing here? But that's okay. All right, I understand. I do that all the time. SBC says, I did put up my tree yesterday. Ah, very cool. John says, great show from Franklin. I like your show. Oh, thank you, John. I appreciate that. Ah, from Franklin. Okay, very close. Very, very close. Well, I appreciate you joining us tonight, John. We just talk about all things horror, science fiction, paranormal. In this case, just but mere moments ago, we were talking about the UFO disclosure. So a bit of news about that, as well as some upcoming or some recently released horror movies. So kind of like to mix it all in. Anything under the chiller mantle, under the chiller umbrella. And with good reason. Because every Saturday night on Stream TV, you can watch 4 episodes, back to back, of Chiller Night Theater, hosted by Jack Shadow. This very handsome, dashing fellow, or at least he'll tell you he is. The shows are hosted by Jack, and sometimes this fellow right here. I don't know what AI did with my hair there, but I don't know. It's different, but yeah. Every Saturday, and you can watch the programming on Stream TV at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. You can see it up here, streammedia.tv. So I hope you get a chance to check that out if you haven't. And SBC says, I believe something exists, but this is just more psyops. See, I tend to think that as well, just because it's not going to come out in a documentary. It's the drip, 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 the letting little bits out, very controlled, as I was saying about the media, the news. It's all controlled, all intentional, all very, it just is. Stephanie says, my mom and I are decorating on my parents' 50th wedding anniversary. Oh, yeah, that's right. I do recall you saying something like that on your parents' 50th wedding anniversary. That's very cool. SPC says, where is Bonehead? I don't know. That's right. I saw him earlier. He just had some eye emojis pop up there, but that's true. Bonehead is kind of just being quiet. If he's still with us, I hope he is. Bonehead. John says, love it. Ah, very cool. I'm glad you're here with us, John, and Glad to hear that. John says, we cannot be the only ones in the universe. No way, God forbid. No, I agree with you. I don't believe that at all. So, and many theories on what's going on there. Are they from another planet? Are they from another dimension? Are they from our future? Who knows? What do you think? Do you have something that kind of resonates with you? You know, what do you think? What's your gut tell you? Or would you just kind of waiting for more information? Hard to say. Now, I had mentioned ChillerNight Theater. I had mentioned that. So I would like to say that my projected goal for 2026 is a revival of the show. So, and I've been in talks with Jack Shadow, and he is in 100% total agreement, and we are working hard to see that becomes a reality. I'd like to see that happen. And I already have a date set to where this will be kicking off, but more about that a little bit later. But I am working on this coming up in 2026, so we will see. And also, here's another idea. There's another possibility. Now that's projected, ChillerNight Theater. That's projected. That's planned. That is in the works. Another idea, because we're talking about UFOs, we're talking about this type of thing, is possibly Chiller Chat. I enjoyed Chiller Chat, and I would, that's a possibility. That's not in the works. That's not being planned, but I wouldn't mind bringing Chiller Chat back. I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed interviewing people. I enjoyed a show format, unlike this very informal format right here, where it's just kind of us getting together and talking all things chiller. So if I can come up with explore a kind of a functionable format for Chiller Chat, we'll see. We'll see. I'm not going to rule it out, but my main focus is on ChillerNight Theater. So D says, I'd say another galaxy, plus they also perfected time travel. I would think if beings could, well, you're saying from another galaxy, another galaxy. Now that would be something. You're not talking about just another solar system. You're talking another galaxy. So I would have to think that anything intelligent enough to understand the complexities of and the science involved in that, not just understanding it, but actually accomplishing what goes into making that work, would also have to have figured out time travel. I don't see why not. That makes sense to me. I've thought a lot about that. SBC says, as for aliens, I'm hoping it's the hot blonde female kind that lands here, but it's probably the slimy reptile kind. Well, perhaps it's all of them. The blonde female kind, I take it that perhaps you're referring to like the Pleiadians, or the what they call the Nordics, or the tall whites. Part of the Elohim, what they call the Galactic Federation and all that. So I don't know, but yeah, we'll probably get the reptiles. Stan says, I witnessed with about 75 others a power line down, shorting out on a barbed wire fence on the hillside late one night, on a back road in the middle of nowhere. What a night. What did you witness? You saw a UFO? Is that what you're saying? Maybe I'm reading that wrong. Let's see. With 75 others, you witnessed a power line down, shorting out on a barbed wire fence on the hillside late one night. But if you're saying that 70 you and 75 others saw something, that's uh, that's that's very cool. Very cool when you actually get to see that and verify it. And like, I didn't just imagine that, right? I've got 75 other people here saying the same thing. Oh, look like a flying saucer. Yeah, you're seeing a lot of that. You're seeing a lot of that right now. And remember, last year at this time, we were seeing all kinds of that, the UFO activity or UAP. They were man-made drones or what they were. Remember that last year? Obviously, that was a big thing. UFO Stan says. Yep. And then whatever happened with the incident on, was it New Year's Eve in Florida? Was that in Miami? About the mall, and there was all kinds of they sent in like the freaking cavalry with law enforcement. I mean, there were talks of 12-foot tall beings walking around in some kind of mall. I never looked into that. Where's Renee when we need her? Renee's been missing for like 3 or 4 months now, but she was really up on that stuff when it comes to the UFO community and the current UFO news. So, and I would be a little bit more up on it if I were currently doing chiller chats, I think. But especially if I was interviewing somebody about it. Be neat to talk to somebody like an eyewitness, like Stan. I love hearing from people like who've actually experienced that. Whether you know for fact it was crystal clear, I know 100% what I saw, or I saw something I can't explain, didn't sit right with me. I can tell you what I think I saw, but you were, I mean, look at Stan's example. He saw something, he and 75 other people. So that's not just 75 people thinking that something might have happened, but normally you get that many people, they're seeing something. Stephanie says, I hope Renee is okay. Yeah, me too. Me too, Stephanie. She was always the first to comment, or most of the time, very first to comment, and very, very, very proud of that fact. It was kind of funny. So yeah, we miss Renee. Hope she's all right. And Lasercorn, there's another one that hasn't been on here for a while. Lasercorn, although he did. He emailed me or called me. I'm trying to think of how that went. I remember it was on. I think it was Halloween night, because I was in costume as Jack Shadow. I'm in my room in the haunted house, and I wasn't able to respond to that. But hopefully we see Lasercorn on here again. And Stan says, I waited till daylight and found out what it was. Oh. It looked like a flying saucer, like a UFO. And it was... What was it? Back road, no. Oh, there's a power line down, shorting out on a barbed wire fence. Is that what happened, and that somehow looked like a UFO? Or was there something else that you saw? Very interesting. I can only imagine at the time when you're seeing it, how, because we grow up hearing about UFOs, and especially now, honestly, it's in the news everywhere you look. Everywhere you look, there's UFO. Go on social media. You'll see all kinds of just floods of footage. Of course, a lot of stuff's AI. You don't know what's what anymore, but that doesn't negate the fact that there are UFOs, and we know that there are, and it's been admitted. Now we need to hear, the one thing, and I was wondering when that stuff was going on last year at this time, would, the president at that time, would he make some kind of announcement, you know? Because that's really what you want to know, was if a world leader is going to make a statement like that, Biden didn't. Will Trump be the president during his presidency that this is revealed? I don't know. I didn't know about the last one, so we'll see how this goes. We will see. SBC says, I see many preparations for a war. I wonder if that's related to what they tell us about UFOs. It's hard to say. I would hope that anything that comes here with the, like D had mentioned, the thought of being from another galaxy as master time travel, anything that has the capabilities of that would hopefully be guided by light and love and not be hostile. Because I would think if they were hostile, they could have. I don't think they just showed up. I think they've been here for a long, long time, and I think at any given time it could have been a takeover. If they haven't already. Let's see. Stan says everyone else said it was a saucer. Oh, everyone said it was a saucer, huh? Well, you got a lot of witnesses there. SBC says an electric arc can be extremely bright, even brighter than direct sunlight in some cases. Ah. Yeah. I guess we'd have to know, like, without being there with in Stan's situation, like, how was it? Was it moving? Was it actually moving? Was it something that just kind of exploded onto the scene? Exploded, perhaps literally. Was it something that moved in a way that couldn't have been a man-made craft? Very interesting. Brad says, here's Brad. Hey, Brad. Hard to believe that Christmas is coming. Now, that is awesome, but not as awesome as when the 1931 horror films Dracula and Frankenstein coming to the public domain in January of 2027. Yes, this is indeed awesome news. Once again brought to us by Brad Beckwith. Well, Brad, thanks for joining us, and once again for the weekly reminder about Dracula and Frankenstein coming to the public domain in January. Both of them in January of 2027. That is pretty cool. It is. So, thanks for joining us. Stan says, and all the Kellers was wild. See, I wish I could get a better idea of what you saw. I think that would be neat. Like I said, was it something that all of you saw traveling, or just like floating slowly with blinking lights or something? Was it something as clear as like the Phoenix Lights, that type of thing, back in the 90s in Arizona? Stephanie says, my parents told me about seeing something in New Mexico in the 1970s. Yeah. Some of the footage. I remember seeing a documentary back in the mid 2000s, maybe 2004 or 2005, Out of the Blue. I remember seeing that one right there, and that was such a really well done documentary, and some of the footage that they had on there was pretty incredible. Now you can pretty much see a lot of stuff like that coming out left and right, but there's a lot of footage. There's a lot of footage out there. Again, use your discernment. You know, whether it's AI. I think sometimes you can check with AI. Is this AI? Um, Brad says, I think I made that perfectly clear. LOL. Yes, yes, yep. That will be cool, though. That will be cool. Horror hosts are going to be having a heyday with Dracula and Frankenstein. Roll that beautiful footage, D says. Yes. I wish I had some. Hey, there's a question for you, Stan. Did you get any footage of that? Did you get any pictures? Everyone's got these anymore, so I didn't know if anybody get that. And if you do, let me know. We'll put it on here during one of these, or maybe even on a chiller chat. Again, I said projected for 2026. I haven't. See, they're all over the place, folks. Ah, man, you can't go out anymore without these darn UFOs. But yeah. Did you get any? Did you get any footage? If so, again, projected ChillerNight Theater in 2026. That's projected. That's being planned. That's actually in the planning process. A possibility is a revival of Chiller Chat. We will have to see. We'll have to see about the Chiller Chat, but ChillerNight Theater is. I'm very much focused on that. Stan says in the 70s. Oh, okay. So we didn't have our phones yet, obviously. All right. Patty says, "Hey, Patty, thanks for joining us. 1972 for me was not AI. I missed Yogi Bear show because of it." Oh, is that right? 1972. Interesting. Interesting. Brad says horror hosts are going to have a field day on January 1st, 2027. Yes, yes, they will. And I know one who would probably very much enjoy bringing Dracula and Frankenstein to you, hosting that movie. Nickel phone booth back then, Stan says. Paul says, hey there, family. How's everyone doing? Have a great week. Yes, you too, Paul. Thanks for joining us. I'm doing fine. I think everyone seems to be doing pretty well. We're talking about UFOs and SBC says the UFO I saw proves to me that they are real, whether it was extraterrestrial or secret military technology. I cannot say. Yep, exactly though. You saw something. You know it to be real. You can't say where it's from. You don't know. But the people in certain now, granted, just because they're talking from the White House or something like that doesn't necessarily mean that they do know. Maybe they don't. But there are. I can tell you that I guarantee there are groups of people who do know exactly what they are. So those are the ones I want to hear from. Paul says, don't forget Manos. No. Remember Manos. Remember, like I was thinking of Remember the Alamo. Remember Manos. Don't forget. Hi all, Patty says. Hey, Patty. SPC says, how are you? To Paul. And then D says, will it only be the Bela Lugosi Dracula or also the Christopher Lee Dracula? Well, right now, the one that Brad is mentioning would be the Universal Bela Lugosi. Man, that would be cool though. Could you? That would be awesome if we could get the Hammer horror movies. Those came a little later though. 1958 I think was the. I'd have to recheck that date, but it's somewhere within that year range for the first Dracula movie from Hammer Horror with Christopher Lee. Paul says, great, SBC. I don't know what the numbers are next to my name. Yeah, those popped up, what was it, last week or the week before? We have all kinds of variations of names being presented here. I'm seeing, yeah, at Paul-K5E2W. All of you have SBC Cinema. Paul, it's something to do with the channel ID YouTube did. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what they did. We're all a little different on here. D. Dittman 946. Dominic says, Brian, did you get any of the NECA horror figures? Bella. No, but they got so many cool things, and I have contacted them to try to become a distributor, or try to set up an account so that I could get their stuff wholesale and sell it at my store. I can never get a response from them, and it drives me nuts because I would love to have, and this year coming up, I will actually be able, I think, and I hope, to have time to really devote to doing this. Right now I go through Entertainment Earth for most of what I'm getting, and it's just not good. You know, I get some stuff. I'll tell you, the latest stuff I got were Ghostface. I got these Ghostface plushy 8-inch little Ghostface toys. They're cool. I sold one right when I was getting it out of the box. A lady wanted one right away, so I think they're going to sell well. But I ordered that back in June of 2024. So, and I just got that box like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. So they're very, very slow with their back order stuff. Very slow. I still have stuff back ordered. I still have other things that I've ordered. Monster action figures from June of 2024. So, Patty says, is your channel name on YouTube? What? Mine? Mine is ChillerNight. Is that what you're wondering, or are you talking to somebody else? Dominic says, or Christopher Lee as Dracula. No, I would love to get those though. I'd love to. I'd get those in a heartbeat if I could, if I didn't have to wait so long. I do have some stuff on back order, but it's of the Universal likenesses. Dominic says, yeah, I highly recommend the NECA horror figures. Yep. The only thing that I have right now that I think is pretty cool, do I have a picture of it? I don't think I do. I do not think I do. Nope. Is the Bendy Fig of Dracula. It's pretty neat. It's a pretty neat figure. But no, they have such cool stuff, and maybe this coming year I can really focus and try to see if I can get in touch with them, partner up with them. Hopefully you can get them in your shop. Yeah, also here's another thing. For 2026 is, Ava and I have been talking about this, and we are going to get the ChillerNight, my store, my physical store, we're going to expand that to online. So no matter where you're at, if you wanna order stuff through the store or through online, we'll be able to do online orders if you care to do that. Patty says, trying to get my machines at work up and running, already behind on my card orders. Oh no! Hopefully you get caught up there, Patty. Dave Davis, hey DJ Dave, says hello. Hey there, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Thanks for joining us. SPC says, I think even YouTube doesn't even know why they're doing what they're doing themselves. Yeah, that could be. Paul says Christopher Lee is the second best. I think a lot of people would agree with that. Absolutely. Stan says, "I want a ChillerNight poster." Ah, we'll have to come up with something like that. And a Jack Shadow T-shirt, maybe a ChillerNight Theater T-shirt. I love the shirt, Bry. Paul says, "Thank you, the Mandalorian." Uh, Stephanie says, "I was watching a haunted house commercial compilation on YouTube, and I saw yours, Brian." Oh, really? Somebody put mine on there. Interesting. Interesting. Um, Brad says, "Brian, have you ever seen the 1934 horror film Life Returns?" I have not, Brad. Nope, I have not. Um, have you seen it? And if so, what'd you think of it? Did you like it? 1934. Paul says, "How was Ava? And have you seen Sinners yet?" No, we haven't. Ava's doing well. And that's right. That's right. I keep forgetting about that one, Paul. Eventually, it's going to sink in. You're reminding me is going to sink in. And we're going to check it out. So maybe this weekend. Maybe I'll think about it this weekend. I have heard that I've heard or read reviews on it that it's a really well done movie. So looks like it's worth watching. Paul says, "Hey, Stephanie, Bry, where is Tom in my sidekick phone?" Yeah. Good questions. Good question there, Paul. Order online will do, Stan says. Yep, I will have that up and running. Also, merchant, photos of Jack Shadow, signed and all that good stuff. So, Paul says Sinners has a Golden Globe nomination. Is that right? That's pretty cool. Let's see. SBC says, "Let's talk about movies. What is your favorite UFO movies?" How could it? Mine. It takes me instantly back to Close Encounters of the Third Kind. I very much enjoyed that movie. I thought it was really well done. There was a series back in the early 2000s. I'm gonna look it up real quick. I remember watching this. I thought it was really well done. I think it was perhaps Steven Spielberg was the executive producer or something. I know he was involved. I'll tell you here in a minute. TV shows. Taken. That was it. I thought it was Taken. From 2002. It was a series. One season. Taken is a 2002 science fiction miniseries executive produced by Steven Spielberg that chronicles the lives of three families, the Keys, the Clarks, and the Crawfords, over 5 decades, all of whom were affected by alien visitation. So, I don't know what that's playing on right now. If it's, I'm sure you could look it up somewhere online and find a channel that plays this. Themes and plot: alien abduction, human and alien interaction, and family and destiny. Number of episodes: 10 episodes. So it was a short-lived series, but really well done. It was on the Sci-Fi channel. Okay. Where can I watch Taken miniseries? Maybe I'll say, Peacock, on the Peacock channel. If any of you have that channel, that's where you can find that one. All right, now let's see what some of you are saying. Those are just my initial responses there to SBCs. Dave says, "I've been sick this past week, cold and flu and more going on, I'm sure. But yeah, seen it, but you're doing better. But doing better now. Too cold to be out in the shop." Oh, that's very true. At the moment, gotta put up lights yet, so yeah. Hey, gotta go. Good talking to you. God bless. Take care. You too, Dave. Thanks for stopping by, and take care of yourself. Yes, those colds are going around. So, Doc says, "Been a while. Hey, Brian. Hope was well." Yeah, you too, Doc. Thanks for joining us. Project Blue Book, Doc says. Yeah, Ava and I were watching that when that came on. Yeah, we started watching that. That was pretty interesting. Uh, Good to have you. Good to have you here with us. D says, does my stepmother is an alien count? Hey, it does if you like it. By golly. Yeah, see? And SBC says yes to D. Paul says, gotta go help mom. See you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Be safe out there, family. Love you guys. All right, you too, Paul. Thanks for stopping in and joining us. Stephanie says, I've seen Alien 1979 one time, and that was enough. Oh, the classic Alien. Directed by Ridley Scott. Novelization by Alan Dean Foster. That was truly a horror movie that just happened to take place in outer space. They did it up like a horror movie. That was good. It was well done. Well done. I did have the novel of that one. Jason says, hey, Jason, thanks for joining us. I'm awfully late to the ghoulish party tonight, but I am so happy to see our ghoulish leader and everyone else. Oh, we are very happy that you joined us. We have 8 minutes remaining. 8 minutes. But glad to see you. Glad to see you there, Jason. Thanks for joining us. We're just talking about, now we're talking about, SBC asked, what is your favorite UFO movie? Doc Dread is on here, or show. We'll say show, because I start out with Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and then I said a show, which was Taken from 2002, the miniseries. Doc says Project Blue Book. D says my stepmother is an alien. Let's see. Stephanie says she saw Alien 1979. That was one time, and that was enough. Brad says Life Returns is about a doctor who has spent his career working on ways to revive the dead, sees his chance to prove his theory by performing his procedures on a recently deceased dog. Oh, yeah? Okay. Paul says Space 1999. The old series there, the old show there with Martin Landau. Back in the 70s, Brad says, and they say it is based on a true story. Oh, really? Really? Okay. I've not seen that one, never heard of it. Interesting. How? I mean, I take it he was not successful. Or was he? Jason says Thing 2, I believe, is a real thing coming out sometime in the best future. Yeah. We were talking about that last week, about the Thing sequel. So how will that go? We shall see. Near future. Oh, the D says another one, not scary, but a classic. My Favorite Martian. Yes. My Favorite Martian. Doc says, have you seen Communion? What was up with the alien dance scene? I don't know. It was a long time ago. Back in the 90s, I saw that one, Doc. I have seen that one, yeah. Kind of a weird movie. SBC says, night, Paul. Have a nice Mano stream. See you next week. Stephanie says, how about the Thing from Another World? Does that count? Yeah. It's an alien. Sure. Jason says, Doc Dredd and I are practically neighbors. Oh, that's cool. Neat. Jason says, the X-Files alien episodes are fantastic. Yes, they are. Ava and I watched a few of those. Al says, World of Worlds, 1953. Yeah, there you go. That's some classic. SBC says, I love the X-Files. You and me both. Jason says, 2001 Space Odyssey, when the monolith is first discovered on the moon. Yes, Brad says, it's public domain, and I highly recommend watching it, Brian. Oh, the movie about the dog. Life Returns. Okay, well that's out there for all of you if you want to check it out. Doc says Fire in the Sky was terrifying. That is another one that that did come into my mind when we were talking about this stuff. Yeah, that was a good one. V the miniseries, D says. You know, I started every once in a while. I go back to that one, and there was the original miniseries, and then they had the series. Remember that? Same, Mark Singer and some of the others. Michael Ironside was on the series, not the miniseries, but um, Jane, was it Badler, who was the main bad queen, the alien queen leader. Um, I always enjoyed V. So yes, and it is 8:57. 8:57. Man, this hour goes quick. If you're in the area, folks, if you're in the area, go to my store, ChillerNight, in Venango County, Pennsylvania. Venango County, remember that. And you can go to Jack Shadow's House of Terror. Now, this is the very tame version of it, which is our display haunt. That is 11 months out of the year. And then in October, we'll come back to the regular haunt with the actors in it and that. But if you are looking to go through and to take the kids through something, this would be more suitable for the kids to go through. There are some, a few things that jump out at you, or some animatronics and some lighting and sound effects, but obviously nothing too drastic, as we do not have the actors in there. Another thing I've got going on every Thursdays is half off night for the, well, right now the only one I have is Zombie Outbreak up and running. Half off price for escape rooms when you book Thursdays from 6 to 8 p.m. Now this one's by appointment only on Thursdays. You can do that at ChillerNight.com. And that, of course, is Zombie Outbreak. But I wanted to put that plug in there before we ended, because I didn't realize that we were at the end of the hour here. Life with Ryan Reynolds had promised, but became a trope alien action movie. V with Robert Englund. Yes, I remember him in there, yeah. Trying to think of his name. Was it William or something? I'm trying to think of his name in there. Willie. I think that was his name. Jason says, I hope to see the display haunt sometime soon. Yeah, if you get a chance, come on out. Brad says, good night, everybody. Remember the 1931 horror films Dracula and Frankenstein coming to the public domain in January of 2027. I cannot say that enough, LOL. All right, good night, Brad. Doc says, nice seeing you again. We'll try to be more regular. Merry Christmas. Ah, to you too, Doc. Thanks for stopping in, and Merry Christmas to you as well. So, and I know you have a lot going on. Everybody check out what Doc has going on with his programming and his content. Al says, good night, everyone. Good night, Al. D says, Art to Clown Santa at your store is really cool. Oh, thank you. I was a little hesitant to put him right up in the lobby area because Santa Claus is right outside. I was like, okay, I got to put it to where it's not really up against the gate, because I don't want to scare the kids that are visiting Santa, but I still want to have Art the Clown, the representing. It was Christmas. Dominic says, Brian, did you post a Terrifier animatronic on your Instagram this weekend? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. That's the one at the store that D was commenting on. Look cool. Thank you, Dominic. I appreciate that. And he says, take care, everyone. Yes. As SBCs, let me mention the old-time classic E.T., of course, E.T. So we're talking about Steven Spielberg, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Taken, and of course E.T. Very good one, SBC. All right, folks, it is that time. So thank you for joining me and each other for another night of Chiller Night Live. So have a good night. Have a good Chiller Night. We'll see you next week.